Okay, today we're playing a game on Hollywood. We are in the Gold SR range, and we will be playing Ana the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, D.Va, Pharah, Reaper, Widowmaker, and Ana. So we've got 3 DPS and 1 healer, which is not the end of the world, and the 1 healer is Ana. She is the highest output healer in the game, so that's fine. Keep an eye on the Widowmaker. She changes into a few people. Some stuff happens with the Widowmaker. Don't really have any issue with the team for once. We're also not, like, super weak to a Reinhardt, which is, Winston, that's his name, for once, because we actually have a Pharah, Reaper, Reinhardt, and Widowmaker, and, never mind. Names are too difficult, apparently, so we're just gonna start the game instead. So, they have a Symmetra, which is inconvenient usually, but we've got, let's turn it down a little bit more, actually. We were sharing stories about how we were playing with bad people, basically. Well, not just bad people, like throwers. So, we actually, the first round goes by pretty quickly, surprisingly, you know. It doesn't look like it's gonna go that well, and then suddenly it goes just fantastically, all at once. So we're sort of sitting back, healing people. We've lost Pharah. Widow killed their Ana, which is pretty terrible for them. Because, I mean, that's... Generally, when you lose your main healer, things tend to not go great. Oh god, Reinhardt's right in our face, but he doesn't go for us. We just get to trank him. Widowmaker has managed to break D.Va's mech and kill Symmetra, so Symmetra hasn't got to put her teleporter down yet, so... Basically, we just get to walk in over here and take the point now, because most of them are dead. We nano boost the D.Va, which is probably unnecessary, because there aren't actually that many people here right now. But at the same time, nano boost charges so quickly, you don't really have to feel bad about using it. Genji uses Dragon Blade, and it doesn't really execute it super well. He kills Widowmaker, but he doesn't kill us, so if he killed us, that would have been pretty terrible, because we're our team's only healer right now, but didn't do that. And by the time we heal up these 2 tanks, we have basically got Nano Boost back again, so. This is why you don't have to worry about using Nano Boost usually as Ana, because it charges so quickly. It's not unusual to get your ultimate multiple times in one fight. So, enemy team probably a bit tilted off that one. Reinhardt just doesn't want to turn around, so, like, let's go back and watch that one again.
Oh, damn, son.
He was probably pretty upset about that one. Got Genji as well. So it was really easy for us to get that point, mostly because, one, their Reinhardt killed himself on us charging in, but then Widowmaker actually, like, picked off quite a few people, and then we basically didn't have to worry about it. Symmetra didn't get to put her teleporter down as well, which is generally a benefit. D.Va's back there fighting the Symmetra. The Symmetra's not really doing very much right now, but we do have to keep in mind Symmetra's back there. This is kind of awkward, because, like, usually you don't want to even be close enough that you could get hit by this, Earth Shatter, because when you're playing Ana, you can stand really far back, but we also know that there's a Symmetra back there, so we don't necessarily want to stand super back there either, but we end up getting hit by the Earth Shatter. So we know in hindsight that the better play was to just stand back there, because Ana can defend herself against a, Symmetra as well. You know, you throw your grenade on the ground, and then she's basically dead at that point, but... So, we know in hindsight, though, we should have been standing back because we got hit by Earth Shatter. Simultaneously, though, if you get hit by the enemy's Reinhardt's Earth Shatter, and you've got a Reinhardt, that tends to be the Reinhardt's fault, because that's kinda his job. It's not even kinda, that's his job to block it, so at the same time you can blame it on him as well. We call out Reinhardt's dead, he gets shot in the face by their Widowmaker. We got the Reinhardt as he was charging in, which is the best time to nano boost your Reinhardt, so good times all around. Widowmaker's killed their Genji, so Genji's probably upset about that one. I know I would be if I was the Genji, but that's why I don't play Genji, because I die to embarrassing people. Got hit by the tire. I mean, you know, the tire right now is, If you get killed by the tire, and you're not playing someone like Junkrat yourself, you can just kinda go, yeah, well, you know, what was I supposed to do, really? Because, I mean, it's like watching, you see it go over a ledge, it's like watching NASA launch a fucking rocket. It's impossible. It can't be done. Cannot be shot. Alright, this has been, like, moved over there, which is terrible. Don't know how long it's been like that, but that's probably very upsetting. So, so far, we've been killed just because we've been hit by ultimates. The tire would have probably come directly for us even if we were standing back, and the other one we can blame on our Reinhardt also being bad because he's in gold. I suppose the argument you can make is you can't, because you know your Reinhardt is probably bad, you can't rely on him to block the Earth Shatter. But, at the same time, you know, it's still his fault, really. So, we've not had to do anything for a while now, because we kind of haven't seen anybody, and for the most part, we're just sitting really far back healing people, which is, I mean, you know, crazy. We're playing Ana. Here comes Junkrat. Very optimistic use of the dart. Better to wait for him to land, rather than trying to hit him out of the air. Because, well, I mean, it's, you know, he's fairly locked into an arc, but it's just sort of hard to hit a dude that's flying through the air at you that quickly, with a slow-moving small projectile. So it's easier to hit them if they wait for till they land. At the same time, though, he wasn't allowed to do that, so he was gonna get fucked regardless. Their tank and healer currently dead. Here's Junkrat again. He's purple right now. We call out that he's purple and he's got 1 hit point, and our Winston finds him. Winston has now found him. This checkpoint doesn't take too terribly long to get through. We stalled out a little bit on the street phase. We nano boosted the Winston, and this is not a very good use of nano boost, but we vocalized this, so yeah, fair enough. I have seen situations where nano boosting someone in the graviton with you is the correct play, which is basically like them staying alive through it is really important, to the point that you're like, well, I'm gonna die, but I'll try and keep this guy alive anyway. Which is like, you know, I've seen it be the correct play to nano boost the Mercy that's in there with you, so that you can try and keep the Mercy alive to res everybody. But, generally not the case. That's a pretty sick sleep dart, but unfortunately Winston just immediately wakes him up again, so. Winston gets killed. Well, he's just like standing there. I assume he stood on the Junkrat trap, and cause it seems a bit odd that he decided to just like stand perfectly still on top of the car. And I mean, if you're playing a tank and you accidentally step on a trap, you're generally pretty sad about it. Diva's killed people that she didn't deserve to kill again with her ultimate. Tranked the Reinhardt, which is good, but then Diva just immediately woke him up again and got pinned. However, Reinhardt wasn't allowed to do that, and the enemy team got killed behind him. So, and here comes the tire. But Reaper and somebody else just push it all the way. So, don't have to worry about it. Didn't really have to do very much that game. So our Widowmaker is now Sombra, by the way. We've been having a great time laughing and chatting in the voice chat, and then at the same time we start e-bullying the Widowmaker / Sombra, the duality of man, because he's not in the voice chat, so we e-bully him through text. So, first round wasn't that difficult, but you might notice from the timeline this is a 26-minute long video, so the whole game is not exactly very peachy. So, there, Ana already dead because Reaper went in and killed him. However, Reaper was way too deep and couldn't get back out again. A fairly optimistic sleep dart, but at the same time, sleeping him would have been pretty terrible for them, so fair enough to attempt it. This is the point, like, you don't want to do it, but this is the point where you grenade yourself because you don't have another healer and you're at half HP right now. You would want to go back and, like, pick up the health kit under normal circumstances, but, like, a fight's... Oh, wait, no, Lucio. We have a Lucio as well, but whatever, he's, basically a DPS. So, that's the point where you use the grenade on yourself, because you can't really go back to pick up the health kit, because a fight is happening at the time, so you still kind of have to be there. But sitting around at half HP is generally not very good, because, kind of can suddenly get killed very quickly, actually, at half HP. There's a lot of things in the game that will do 100 damage quite quickly. For example, this Genji. And, you know, we're pretty fucked at this point. The only way you survive is if you trank him.
Genji, please. Oh god.
But trank was on cooldown until we died, so there was no hope. Came up the second we died as well, very sad. But at the same time, it's hard to trank an ulting Genji. That's the only way you survive, though, if you have your trank off cooldown. Or somebody just appears and, kills him, but tends to be hard unless you've got, like, a McCree on your team. Then, you know, it's hard CC. Tends to be pretty good for Genji. It'll come as no great surprise to anybody that we don't hold on to this checkpoint for a very long time. Lucio has stood on the trap, and boy was he upset about that one. Reaper's spinning. We don't have our nano boost for him, but he still killed quite a few people anyway, so good times. This is the point you use your grenade on yourself or back up to heal up, because we're standing around at half HP again. Piece of candy confirmed throwing. I mean, the sad thing is he's, like, killed a lot of people. If you were watching the kill feed, even while he was Sombra, he killed, like, 3 people a minute ago, so, Zarya's running at us saying she needs healing when she's at, like, full HP. Junkrat's not allowed to do that, and now he's dead, so get fucked, Junkrat. Winston's on us. We've got no cooldowns. We call out that he's on us, but we're pretty fucked again. We do, like, run away from our team, but at the same time, the only teammate close to us at the time is, D.Va as well, so she can't really help that much with getting the Winston off of you. But, the initial response is like, oh, I want to get away from this Winston. Sometimes you want to actually, like, run through the Winston because it gets you to your team if they can help you. No one was in position, but, like, sometimes running away from the Winston is not the correct play. Sometimes it's to run through the Winston to get to your team. Assuming there's somebody over there that can actually help you. So we've nano boosted Zarya, which is not usually a very good nano boost target, but most of our good nano boost targets, which is basically Reaper, and D.Va, were not really around either. D.Va was out of mech and Reaper was dead, so, you know. Unfortunately, it's very sad. You know, Zarya seems like she would be a really good nano boost target, but tends not to be. Look at the kill feed. Look at the kill feed. Look at Das kill feed. Look, like, you know, it's not that uncommon to see someone kill themselves on Junkrat's passive, but 2 people did it, which is very upsetting. That's very upsetting to me. Alright, if YouTube would be so kind as to start again. So, Lucio's here, so we don't have to grenade ourselves now, because he's actually here healing us, which is incredible. Zarya is not allowed to be standing up there, considering we are missing quite a bit of our team right now, but she was. The only way you pull it off, the only way you survive is if you trank the Genji with the blade. Which, I mean, you know, it sounds so terribly unhelpful to say something like that, but at the same time, if you're playing Ana and Genji comes at you, the only thing you can do is hope that you trank the Genji, or somebody appears and miraculously kills the Genji. Team is basically throwing, says Scuba. I think Scuba is on the enemy team, but I don't know who he is. We shouldn't even come up here to touch it. Like, it's not even, it's not feasible. We should back out at that point. Now we just have to take even longer to get back to our team, which is pretty terrible because we're our team's main healer, so we don't want to be the one that dies right there. Oh, Lucio was dead as well, so it's even worse. So, something very unfortunate. The unfortunate thing with our team comp is that we have a Sombra as one of our DPS, but Sombra is not a DPS hero, despite being in the offense tree. So, the best thing that could happen for our team right now is if Lucio changed to a McCree. Because then we would have somebody, also one of our tanks, if they could be Winston, that'd be great. Because then if we had a McCree, we would have 2 DPS, which we don't really have right now. And we would have somebody that can do something about the Genji, who has been causing us trouble so far. Because here he comes again, and there's nothing you can do about it, really, except trank him. You can argue, like, you shouldn't have been in a position where you can get killed by the Dragon Blade, but, like, I've seen people say that, and like it's not a very good argument because there are certain things in this game that you're not meant to survive, really. And one of those things is if you're playing Anna and Genji is on you with the Dragon Blade, you aren't meant to survive that, really. Also, that was a very optimistic use of our sleep dart, which is not generally a good use of the sleep dart because Anna's cooldowns are very long and very punishing, but she needs them to try and survive as well. That one is unfortunate that it just manages to thread through like 3 different people. So, trying to nano boost the Reaper, it looked like, but the target is on Sombra somehow, like, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Like, the target is actually on Sombra. Come on, YouTube. Yeah, the target is locked onto Sombra right behind the Reaper. I mean, Sombra's not actually the worst person in the game to nano boost because it is, like, easy to land damage, and when she's nano boosted, why she actually like starts doing damage incredibly enough. But at the same time, you know, don't really want to nano boost the Sombra if your alternatives are something like Reaper or Diva. But I don't know, maybe you're there's like a sensitivity for the nano boost and Guardian Angel targets. Maybe it's too low for it to actually like stick on the Sombra right there. So we're standing really far up. Genji's got the Dragon Blade out again. Fortunately, he doesn't go for us, but he does just like kill our entire team behind us. And now, what are we gonna do? We almost tranked ourselves because he actually deflected the trank dart, which would have been very upsetting, but didn't happen. Probably the most upsetting thing I've ever seen was Genji deflected a trank dart into the enemy team's Mercy and then killed the Mercy. She must have been so salty about that. But that kind of implies that a Mercy player is not salty by default, which is, as we all know, not true. So, like, there's not really that much we can do about this. Like, we've been holding on to this nano boost for a really long time. Like, we wanted to use this nano boost like a long, long time ago, and we've just been holding it. And like there's times we could have we should have probably just taken like a less than ideal nano boost rather than no nano boost. Cause generally you just want to ult as many times as possible in a game, and that'll get you further. Yeah, we want him to join the voice chat for maximum e-bullying. Fair enough, I know how it is. This is why I don't join the voice chat, because I'm a very abrasive and competitive person. So all I would do is argue with people and pick fights. That's all that would happen. So we're now looking at some stats, because, I mean, that always does a lot for one's tilt. Basically, the main issue with last round, because we lost last round fairly easily after they got the first checkpoint. We never really stopped them again after that. Team comp became a significant issue, because if you also think about it, our DPS were Reaper and Sombra. Sombra is already not a DPS, as we've established, so she is a support. She's like an off healer, basically. So all we had was Reaper and Sombra, neither of which can kill a Genji, and their Genji basically just kept killing us. And there was not much we could do about it as Anna, other than sleep dart him every time he came at us with Dragon Blade. Because if you also think about it, he Dragon Bladed us like, 4 or 5 times over the entire game. Their Genji is actually playing really well. And we had nothing that could counter him. Like, we didn't have a Winston, we didn't have a McCree, we had a Diva, Zarya, Reaper, and Sombra. None of these people can really kill Genji, unless the Genji is really bad. Sombra can try and facilitate killing the Genji, but we kind of never saw her, so, you know. So that was like the big thing with last round, and like in the email you said you felt like you could have swung this game, and you were looking for how you could have done that. I don't like. It's close enough that that's possible, but I think the only way it happened was if you landed one of the sleep darts on the Genji, basically. because those were the things that were really fucking us, and basically that was the only way we were ever going to stop them from happening. But like the big issue we had last round was our team comp couldn't do anything against the person on their team that was doing work. So, you know, this is like a very bad positioning error where we have we've walked into the Reaper, which we don't want to do because that's where Reaper wants us to be. We should have just been like backing up away from the Reaper the entire time. We can stand like behind the point and try to heal the D.Va and maybe shoot at the Reaper and the baby D.Va. Going into the Reaper was not a very good idea. At the same time, though, we probably lose that point regardless because things were already not going that well by that point. So, you know. It's not what we want to do, but it also probably wasn't gonna matter by that point. So we're trying to wait for the elevator right now. Reaper is like teleported away and he was standing in front of us at half HP. Which is not great. She is now purple and being tased to death by Symmetra, so she's like, Symmetra should have that situation under control. She indeed does. So we're up on the high ground. We can have the time of our lives up here as, Anna. We do have to be afraid of, Reaper coming to get us, Winston coming to get us. Well, we do have to be afraid of Reaper coming to get us, but that's kind of hard for him to do. We have to be afraid of Winston coming to get us and Junkrat, like, suddenly being in our face, basically. Tyre going around over there. We got shot in the face by all three of Genji's shurikens, which is really unfortunate. And then he just comes up and cuts us again. And there's already not much we can do about that. So when we're at 80 HP, there's even less we can do about that because then he just cuts you once and you die. So the only other thing, other than like landing a sleep dart on the Genji so that he can't kill us, the only other thing we could have really done maybe is change to Lucio, because it's harder for Genji to kill Lucio, because you can speed boost away from him. But at the same time, if we change off of Anna, we probably won't do enough healing. So our choices are we could like try changing to Mercy, but the Genji's already shown us he can kill us as Anna, and Mercy has less ways to defend herself, at least now. Once she has her ultimate, get fucked Genji, just fly away from him. So, really we needed someone on our team to change to something that could kill the Genji, because like that's been the thing that's fucking us. We are duoed with the person that's been playing D.Va, so we could have asked him or her, I suppose. We could have asked them to change to Winston to kill the Genji, seeing as he was giving us a lot of trouble this game. But, to answer your question from the email, basically, the only way you could have, swung this game, I think, is if you land a Miracle Sleep Dart on Genji during one of these Dragon Blades. But then also the caveat to that is someone on your team has to not immediately wake him up again. And, we've landed a few good sleep darts this game, and then the person has immediately been woken up again. So, sometimes you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Poor Doomfist. Not that he should be playing Doomfist, because Doomfist, I was of the opinion that Doomfist was really strong, but after they nerfed his, right-click hitbox down to being like a third of its fucking size, he's not very good anymore. So, the bubble is a little bit in the way right there, which was giving us some trouble, obviously, as it tends to. That's always the worst feeling when you're playing Anna and like a D.Va just gets in your face and just stops you from doing any healing. So we dodged the Doomfist, tranked the Doomfist, we missed the shot on him while he was down, so we just like punched him in the nuts and he woke up again, and he was not very happy about it, but we got away with it anyway. So, it's always very sad when you're playing, Anna and just like a D.Va gets up in your face and is like, no fucking fun for you, my friend. So we nano boosted the Symmetra. There is a Genji running around next to us with the Dragon Blade, which I'm not entirely sure if we noticed for a second, but then he didn't kill us, he only killed Junkrat, so finally, Genji didn't e-bully us for once. Nano boosting Symmetra is actually very scary, because her beam does 120 damage per second at max charge. Increase that by 50%, that's a lot of fucking damage, my friend. And then suddenly Symmetra basically can't die. So something very upsetting does happen right here. The first time I was watching this through, I was like, this might be the moment that could have swung the game if that didn't happen. But no, like, cause like that happened, and I was like, oh, this is probably where we lose. No, actually, no, our team does fine without us anyway, so, that was not the moment. Cause, I read the email and I was watching and I was like, this has gotta be the moment that could have changed it. No, actually they just got, like, dusted without us, so. Yeah, if there was another way to swing it, like, it's beyond me. Which is entirely possible. Because, I mean, I'm not the best player in the world, But I will openly admit to being bad. Because everyone's bad. But the only way I see this game getting swung by you personally is Tranking Genji. Or basically someone on your team should have changed, but no one did. And we're up here right now, but this is where we lose the game. We all get pushed off of the payload, and we end up losing. Because, that tends to happen. Overtime ticks down really quickly after it's been going for a little while. So, who got play of the game? It was, Genji's name was Jesus at work. Yes, fitting. He's not even that shaky. He's kinda shaky. He's not actually that shaky. Damn. 52 eliminations. That's a fucking lot of eliminations. But the game did go for 20 minutes, so at the same time, perhaps not that surprising. So, the moral, like, the game was close enough that I feel like you could have probably swung it, but at the same time, the only way I see it happening was managing to trank Genji and him not getting woken up by the team, cause nothing else stood out as being like a glaringly obvious mistake, and basically everything that went terrible, every time we died, basically it was because Genji killed us, so there's a couple of exceptions to that, but their Genji was, like, really good. Their Genji probably deserved the win, like, to be honest, so, Sometimes I'm not even that upset about losing. If I'm like, yeah, X deserved it because X was actually really good. The Genji, like, deserved it, honestly. I will say maybe e-bullying I'll say it because I feel like I have to say it, but this is massively hypocritical coming from me. Maybe not e-bullying the Widowmaker could have made a difference because, positivity and all that, but at the same time, like, you're gonna ask anyone that knows me and, like, I will gladly throw a game to e-bully someone if shit gets started for some reason. I love fighting people on the internet, okay? Like, it's easily my favorite pastime. So, it's very sad, I know. I don't have a better answer, because it also, like, it seems like such a cop-out thing to say, because it's basically like saying aim better. And it's like aim better on one of the hardest things to hit at the game, in the game during the time you are most stressed in the game also, but it's kind of the only way. Either that or, like, get one of your tanks to change to Winston to kill the Genji, but they would have probably also been hesitant to do that because the enemy team had a Reaper. Like, it would have been the correct play for them to change to Winston anyway, but they might have been like, oh, but there's a Reaper on the enemy team. Yeah, well, just don't fight the Reaper. I ain't paying you to fight the Reaper. I'm paying you to fight the Genji, like, the first time we were defending, only having one DPS because one of them was Sombra is, like, not great either. The best thing that could have happened in that game was for that round, for Lucio to change to a DPS, but that's the thing that upsets me the most with Sombra, is that, like, people are like, it's not even like the thing that Sombra doesn't upset me, it's basically people being stupid that upsets me, which is no great surprise to anyone. But, people are like, oh, she's in the offense tree, so she must be a DPS hero. She actually, like, should be in the support tree. Like, here's what, like, let's take Symmetra and push her to the defense tree, and let's take Sombra and push her to the support tree. Sombra is way more of a support than Symmetra is, because Symmetra is very self-serving as a hero, right? Like, she doesn't do anything to help people other than her ultimate. Sombra helps people by hacking health kits, hacking enemy teammate, hacking the enemy team. She's a healer because she makes the health kits fucking infinite HP, and her EMP is useless by itself, but one of the best ults comboed with her team in the entire game. It does become the best ultimate in the game, assuming her team does stuff with it. Sombra's, like, and what does Symmetra do? She puts down a teleporter or a shield generator. That's it. She's a defense hero. Sombra is a support hero. But they see her and they're like, oh, she's in the offense tree, so that means she's a DPS hero. And then you've got Sombra, 2 supports, and 1 actual DPS on your team. And your team just doesn't do enough damage. That's just how it is. Unless, maybe if one of your supports is Zenyatta, then you're basically still just running 3 supports at the end of the day, which, I mean, is also not the end of the world, but, Oh, but Blizzard put her in the offense tree, so that means she's a DPS. Fun fact about every competitive video game in history: the people that know the least about the video game tends to be the developers. The community almost always actually knows the game better than the developers do. Which, I mean, you know, it sounds kind of stupid, but, like, it's always the case. It's always the case. I saw something on Twitter the other day that was like, this is the lead balance designer on League of Legends right now. And it showed a picture of his, summoner account, and it was unranked. Just never played a game in his life. And I was like, yeah, that does sound like League of Legends, actually. Anyway, enough incoherent rambling. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm more than happy to answer. Sorry for giving kind of a cop-out answer to your email, but it's also the only answer I have. So, yeah, I hope you found the video helpful.